you think you're talking to? You ever use that tone of voice with me, Missy? Who do you think you're talking to? Why can't you give me the respect that I'm entitled to? Why can't you treat me the way I would be treated by any stranger on the street? Because I am not one of your fans!
Anti-Afro Spingalies. Lord have mercy. You know what? There are people in these YouTube streets who really want you to believe that they have a right to put their hands on you because you don't look at them in the way they feel you should look at them. They don't think you have a right to form your own opinion. And when they hear the counter opinion, what do? They go on this threatening rant, saying they're going to be putting the paws on you, trying to set up a scenario where they can envision attacking you. But you also see people just going on these different platforms, announcing it to the world. Not a very smart thing to do, but this is what some of these people do in these YouTube streets. This video is indeed about respect, and it's about facts. People want you to respect them, although you don't have the accurate facts about their situation. Does that make any sense? What about telling the truth about who you are? And people may decide you're worthy of respect. But you can't try to garner respect from people based on a profile that's fraudulent. Don't you want to be considered respected for who you are rather than some scenario you cooked up? This applies to several people in these YouTube streets. For some reason, not satisfied with what they actually represent. So they create a scenario. And yeah, I'm here to talk about that. What people were asking me to do was shed some light based on some commentary and comments they heard out there in these YouTube streets. And what am I speaking about? There was some information put out that was, number one, false. It was that my license expired. You can look up the license any time of the day or night. See, this is the thing about the state I'm in. They don't allow you to hide anything. If you're accused of something, that goes up on the board. There are other states that won't allow anything to be posted unless you were disciplined. So they could go about denying that they were ever contacted because nothing's going to go up on the licensing board website unless you were formally disciplined. Not in this state. They will go up on the board if there is an accusation that they are going to take seriously or are taking seriously. So there's no hiding. My license has never expired. None of my certificates have ever expired. My certifications, it's second nature for me to make sure everything that I do for what I need to do in the professional world is spick and span in terms of deadlines and expiration dates and all that. So the comment obviously is false. And there are many things that are stated about me that are false. So this is what you have to keep in mind. When the truth is so boring and there's nothing of a criminal nature, no ethical violations, you are going to see people making up lies. At any rate, so the other thing that people were wanting me to shed light on, can you compare a doctorate degree with a license? Is one more valuable than the other? And there is no yes or no answer to that question. Remember, all the different fields of service, professionalism, whatever it is that you're doing, manual labor, blue collar, run the gamut. Whatever you decided to do for a living is what you decided to do for a living. There is nothing better, worse, more important than the next, because every role in society has a purpose. You don't want to say, someone or something is better than something else. But you do see this in these YouTube streets about people taunting their education as if it puts them above other people. Now, I would like for you to hear some feedback on that because this kind of irritated somebody who got fed up and decided, you know what, I'm going to give some commentary on this. Stay tuned and I will return.
Over here on this side, we've been to school, we've been to college, we've done research, we know how to look shit up. We are professionals at what we do. We've been to school. We've been to school.
I'm sick of y'all. Look, no disrespect. If you got degrees or whatever, peace be with you. I'm happy for you. But don't be trying to use no motherfucking degrees to shit on us. Stop trying to hang degrees over our motherfucking head, over the Raptors like y'all got some championship rings over us or some shit. Stop it. So just stop all that shit. Like, what the fuck? Niggas are tired of hearing about motherfuckers degrees and I got this and I got, okay, peace be with you in your fucking degrees.
We've been to school.
I have a master's. He only has a bachelor's.
He said it because he couldn't get one. Again,
Yeah, exactly.
Those who can do, those who can't sit back and hate or either get taught by those who could.
Man, stop the bullshit, man. You got degrees. I love there's successful people in this sector. I love it. But stop holding that shit over our head. Because at the end of the day, we don't give a fuck about y'all degrees just like we didn't give a fuck about Umar degrees. What the fuck make you think we don't care about y'all shit? Motherfuckers come here to get entertained. Motherfuckers don't want to come here and hear, I got a degree in this. I got a degree in here. I got a this and that. I got this. Man, motherfuckers want to hear some roasting and entertainment. Y'all think too highly of y'allself in this sector, bro. For real. Motherfuckers be thinking they kings and queens of a fucking island of a land or something. These regular people just like us. But I'm not saying not to go to school. The fuck? Yeah, go to school. You go get a degree, get your degree. But shit, what's a degree to us though? What y'all fucking degrees gonna do for us in the sector?
I think what he says is on point. Is this a space, these YouTube streets in these particular blocks, is this the space where we're talking about or beating people up over whether or not they have education or elevating someone because they do? No. I'm sure there are other spaces in these YouTube streets all day long that talk about education, degrees, that sort of thing, because that's what they're doing. People don't want to hear that here. Having a degree, a doctorate degree, doesn't make you better than anyone. Because the doctorate degree, just like for those of you who are familiar with martial arts, I have two friends that own martial arts studios. Getting the black belt is just the beginning. That's the start. It's not the end. Oh, I got the black belt. No, that's the start of multiple additional stages of achievement. It's just the beginning. Same thing with a doctorate degree. That's the beginning. There are stages that you progress through in order to be considered at a certain level of prestige. Now, I put on the screen here that process. Now, although there are some people out there who would never admit that being a part-time lecturer with a PhD is anything they'd ever want to disclose. Who cares? In every academic department, these roles are valuable. But if you're trying to present and have a certain profile that you absolutely want the public to see you, you would never admit to that. If you have falsely accused others or falsely identified others as working in admissions and records for 13 years, which someone did, you all know what I did at the university. Am I crying and screaming? No. As a paper pusher, this is what this person stated. but this person is working in a paper pushing job. Do I care? No. That's not my mindset. That's this person's mindset. They're not working in the role that they claim that they have. You don't need to lie in order to have anything relevant to say. If you feel you need to lie to be relevant, that's the concern. That's the issue. It's a cause of great concern because there are people who just thrive on making up lies about others. That I worked in admissions and records for 13 years. That is denigrating the role of people in admissions and records. It doesn't denigrate me in either way. So what I want to make sure is clear, this person also stated, oh, I have a PhD and I will never lose the PhD, and me having a license, that license can be taken away. You know, that's a good point. That's an excellent point to make. And first I want to point to you to let you know, or point to you several people on the screen. Do you know who these people are? Just by looking at them. This is a great opportunity that I'm taking to tell you about a series I'm going to be running here. Public Servants Gone Rogue. I'm not going to disclose everything about these individuals that you see on the screen. I'm going to give you a tiny taste of what's to come. It's all related. How people view the titles that they have. Stay tuned and I will return.
In March of 2002, Amy Bishop goes to an IHOP in Braintree, Massachusetts with her husband and her kids. And she tells them how many people she has and she lets them know that she needs a booster seat. And the hostess tells her, oh, I'm sorry, we actually just gave away our last booster seat. And then Amy scans the restaurant and she sees a woman who we now know is named Michelle. And Michelle was there with her children, just eating. And Michelle had actually gotten the last booster seat. So Amy, being the perfectly normal person that she is, decided to walk up to Michelle and her children and said, give me that booster seat. And Michelle's like, what the f-? And Amy goes on this profanity-laced rant and demands the booster seat, while Michelle says, absolutely not. And now she's protecting her children from this crazy woman. Keep in mind, this is in front of Michelle's children. This is in front of Amy's children and Amy's husband and the entire cast of people that are at IHOP. When Michelle refuses to give the booster seat to Amy, Amy starts to punch her in the head while yelling, I am Dr. Amy Bishop. I am Dr. Amy Bishop. I am Dr. Amy Bishop.
Oh, yes. You heard what you heard, people. And I'm going to run that series and I'm going to give you more information about these individuals on the screen. I will go ahead and tell you that they all killed people. They're all highly accomplished and I want to tell you their stories. But we're going to move on because we're going to talk about this comparison to the license versus a PhD. I'm not going to give away everything with the series, but a license absolutely needs to be monitored and scrutinized. The purpose of a license is squarely in line with public service expectations that are ever changing. And the role of agencies that monitor licenses is to protect the public. So it wouldn't make any sense if someone has a license and nobody was able to scrutinize what they did. That is a public safety risk. And it's not by accident that Umar Johnson is up here, because he wants to make sure you think he's all of these titles that he self-assumes. Look at all this stuff. This is someone who absolutely banks on thinking they should be important, all about the image, and so little substance to go along with it. Yes, I am all for people who are licensed being scrutinized. You can't just get a license and do what the hell you want. You are talking about people's lives. You can't just write stuff up and send it on. People look at what you do. And I am completely 100% for that. But I hope this explains the difference between a PhD and the license. I'm going to get more into that with the series. I'm going to start the series Tuesday. I'm going to talk to you about Amy Bishop. Some of you may know who she is, but I'm going to be delving into a whole other side about Amy Bishop that has a parallel to what has been happening in these YouTube streets on certain blocks. By no means am I ever going to let you know anything but the truth. Fact of the matter, this is all Umar-esque behavior. This is engendered by Umar. This is why people who are attacking those who want to hold Umar Johnson responsible are so attracted to this situation, because they carry the same traits as Umar. Same with, let me see your handcuffs. She's just like Umar. Absolutely no integrity. None, people. Zero. Ethics are shot to hell. And I will be going more into that. That is a fact that I can prove many times over. And stay tuned, because I most certainly will be giving you an update on that. In the meantime, don't forget to check out the series, Public Servants Going Rogue in these YouTube streets and elsewhere. You know the drill. Buyer beware.